And following the bus tour we had last week that I did with other councillors where we were looking at all the great work, infrastructure, new facilities, parks that council is doing and will be doing over the forthcoming period. We were shown a block of toilets at Parkfield Reserve Noble Park, and this was a block of toilets that were individual. In other words, there weren't a whole lot of toilets in one room, but each toilet had its own four walls and was lockable. What myself and other councillors noticed was that these toilets were gender assigned. Some were male, some were for males, and some were for female, and some were for disabled. And I know as councillors we've had discussion on potentially what we might have at the Springvale Civic Centre, and I asked the council officers why at Parkfield Reserve the new toilets were male, female and disabled. And the council officer said because there had been very strong opposition to any form of unisex, non-gender assigned toilet. Yeah. So, what I thought was that this needs to be followed through and investigated, Mayor. Rather than let a matter lie on the table, we should seek feedback from the community. And to this end, Mayor, I put a poll on my Facebook page last Friday lunchtime because I thought that potentially toilets could be unisex toilets could be better utilised in busy events. We go to busy events and many times you see queues of women looking extremely uncomfortable, and that offends me as a man because most of the time the men are straight through, in and out, whereas women have to suffer in public, in a queue. Now, is that equality in the modern age, man? I'd say most of us would agree it is not. So, to this end, the poll was put on the my Facebook page, Councillor Sean O'Reilly Facebook page, and I thought we might get a bit of interest. We might get 100 votes here and there around the local community. But what happened was, thanks to my council colleagues, Councillor Dark and Councillor Kerwin, for getting the ball rolling by sharing in their respective groups, and Councillor Sampi, who was a bit late to the party, but nevertheless, better late than never. We got the ball rolling. And before we knew it, Mayor, the poll had gone viral. And it's now, as it's been going since Friday, the poll now has had 162,000 views and 15,500 votes, where people have made a definite choice. They've wanted to exercise their democratic right using Facebook to put their view forward, and notwithstanding many comments, over 1,400 comments. So it's been an extremely interesting exercise in garnering opinion via social media. The poll has been shared hundreds of times on Facebook pages across the world, some of them with names like the North Carolina Redneck Coalition and the left-leaning Liberal Patriots, to name just two. I'm quite proud that a poll about toilets in Greater Dandenong has garnered worldwide attention and discussion. So the world cares about us, Mayor, and the world cares about our toilets. More importantly. So what it says to us is that we've got to get our toilets right. There was even an allegation that Russian hackers had tried to influence the outcome. So you can't go much more than that. So, and I felt strange waking up in the morning realising that overseas hundreds of votes were being cast while I was sleeping. The poll outcome has swung left and right and between progressives and conservatives, but now appears to be closer to 60% that have voted for no change, the other 40% saying they would like a change regarding the toilet assignment. So I'd now, after all that preamble, I would now like the objective and professional opinion of our Acting Director of Engineering. And the questions are, do we have a policy on toilet allocation currently? Could we have a policy, or should we have a policy that can be worked out with further public consultation? I don't suggest that my poll on Facebook should be the start and end of it. There's certainly, we want to make sure that we get it right, and several people that have commented are certainly saying that they think it is very important and that we should get it right, and also taking into account the now legal status of gender non-binary people that could be accommodated in any toilet allocation policy change. So could I get the Acting Director's view on where this could be taken from here? Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Tivera.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the question, Councillor. So, for your first question, how does Council determine the assignment of public toilet facilities? At present, Council has no policy position at present on the assignment of public toilet facilities. Question 2, can Council go through a process to rethink how the assignment of toilet facilities is done? The development of public toilet policy and strategy. Development of public toilet policy strategy could address some of the number of these issues. Due to the range of issues to be covered, the need for a data collection and a high level of public consultation, the cost to have a specialist consultant to deliver this piece of work could be in the order of $80,000. This would need to be considered in the current budget process as a late council bid. So the third question, what consideration has been given to the allocation of unisex toilets due to the legal recognition of gender non-binary individuals? No consideration has been given to the allocation of these toilets on this basis. Toilets are currently allocated to address demand and family requirements such as the use of specialist accessible toilets and changing places facilities where the user needs assistance. Thank you, Mayor.